What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of Skatepark Showcase. Just beyond those stairs behind me is the St. Augustine Skate Park, just south of Jacksonville, Florida. Let's check it out. So I know in the last episode, I said I was gonna focus on the Jacksonville area, but I decided to come down here to St. Augustine. I was here about a year ago and saw this park, got rained out, so figured I'd come here and hit it up really quickly one more time. It's actually pretty close to Jacksonville. It's about 50 miles south of Jacksonville. And the park itself is only about 3 miles from St. Augustine Beach, which is pretty nice. It's in a pretty dope location. There are actually 2 skate parks in this area. I think this one's a little bit older. There's another skate park that is about 8 miles from here that's a slightly different style. I'd say it's like a little bit more transition. I haven't covered it yet, but I'm hoping to cover it hopefully soon. So let's talk about the layout of this skate park. It's an all concrete park. It basically, I would just say, has 2 sections. There is a straight back and forth street section, and then tucked off to the side is like a half bowl. It's pretty simple. It's not a huge park, but it does have a lot of obstacles that I find are very fun to skate. So let's just start off with that little side bowl before we get into everything else. So right when you walk in, the park opens up to this little half bowl. It's not very tall, maybe only 2.5, 3 feet high max. It does a full semicircle. The only issue is that the coping just doesn't stick out very far, so it's kind of hard to lock in, and that's a recurring problem at this park. I didn't really do much on it, but it does have these cool little hips on the left and the right. They're like hips with transition. That was a lot of fun to skate. I've never really skated anything like that, so it was fun trying to see if I could do anything on it. After a long struggle, I did manage to get a sketchy kickflip, so I was happy with that and I moved on. So for the street section, I'm just gonna break down obstacle by obstacle, starting on one end and then moving my way down. So on the far end, there is a really wide quarter pipe. I think it's about 4 feet tall, and it's a good like 16 to 20 feet wide. It's a nice size. Once again, the coping on it is like almost dead even with the concrete, which is unfortunate, so it makes it kind of hard to lock into stuff, but the quarter pipe dimensions are perfect, super fun to skate. Some stalls will just be a little bit tricky on it. That gives you plenty of speed down to the next obstacle, which is the fun box. The fun box is super chill, pretty long flat. Didn't try to air over the flat, but it has 2 hips on each side. Both of them are really mellow and a lot of fun to skate. I'm a hip guy, I really love hips, and I like mellow hips, so this one was definitely good. There is an across ledge and a down ledge. I didn't really skate it too much, but it's good dimensions. It's not too low, not too high. The angle iron on it is nice and sturdy, not messed up or anything like that, so it's good to go. So right past that, that takes us down to the further end of the park, and there's several elements right there. I'll just break down each individual one. You've got a hip slash A-frame, which is very interesting. I'm not really sure what to call these. It basically is just an A-frame on the top, and then there's like a hip that points out from the top section. The hip isn't like, you know, typical hips. Like the angle's a little bit tighter than like a 45-degree angle like a normal hip that's on a fun box, but it's definitely easy to skate, pretty mellow, and then the A-frame's also easy to skate. I'd say the top point is probably only about 2.5 feet high, so super mellow. And then just across from the hip is a like double curved grind box that actually has a bank on the back side of it. So I'll talk about that bank first. You know, it's this tight, super tight bank. There's not really much room to hit it because you're right up against the fence, but those are always fun just to kind of just hit and then keep going. And then the other side, there is round coping that goes around the curve. The curve is not super tight, so it's really easy to skate, and it's really long. The top section is definitely too tall for me. It would be great for BMXers, even though the signage out here says that BMXers aren't allowed, but I don't think they care. And the bottom ledge is a nice height, easy to get onto, and it grinded really well. And then further down, kind of in the center of the far section, is a boob, big boob. And I don't really do anything other than ride on them, but it's fun. And then on one edge, there's 2 obstacles that I'm pretty sure were not here when the park was built. There is a DIY little grind box made out of cinder blocks. I mean, it's cool. There was an open space there and somebody built it out here. Nothing too crazy special about it. It's just your typical little grind box. Probably only about 4 or 5 feet long, 10 inches high. So definitely a good beginner grind box. And then right next to that is the rail. It's an element rail. Somebody actually brought an element rail out here and drilled it down into the concrete, so that sucker's not moving. It was a little sticky. I hit it quickly and then moved on to the next obstacle. That brings us to the very last obstacle at the far end. I don't even know what to call it. It's just like a turnaround obstacle. Like, it's not really a bank. It's not a quarter pipe. Like, it does curve up into it. There's no coping on the top. It's just something nice that you can just hit to turn around and go back into the park. So yeah, there's not a whole lot to this park, but it is in a really nice area. It's fenced in all the way around it. There are like little playground areas next to it. There's a soccer field and there's a porta potty, but no public restroom, which is unfortunate. There is a water fountain that does work right at the entrance of the park, and just a nice little park area. There's a really nice memorial to someone out here. The park's probably dedicated in his name. There's chill benches out here. A lot of shade around the park, not so much in the park. So it definitely does get hot out here, that's for sure. I was sweating big time. The park's open from dawn till dusk. It has different hours depending on the time change that's posted out here, but basically when the sun's up, you can come skate it. No waiver. There obviously aren't any lights here if it closes at dark. The sign says wear a helmet, but nobody cares. And it also says no scooters and no bikes, but I'm pretty sure nobody's gonna care if you come out here riding those either. So yeah, it's a chill park. Like, there's not a lot out here, but it's definitely good for beginners and advanced skaters. There's enough out here to have a lot of fun. Plus, like, it being near the beach is really nice. I was only here for a couple of hours and I was able to kind of like figure out how to skate every obstacle pretty easily. So it's a nice park to just like drop in, skate for a few hours. So that about wraps it up. Tiny little park. Hopefully I can go hit up the other St. Augustine Park soon. Thanks guys for watching another episode of Skatepark Showcase. If you'd like to support the channel, I do have a Patreon page. The link is in the description. It's just patreon.com/parksharks. As little as $1 a month can go a really, really long way. But if you can't donate and want to help out in other ways, all you gotta do is like the video, subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what you're doing, where you're going, what kind of skate parks I should hit up, because maybe one day I'll come to your town. Once again, thank you guys so much. Here's what's coming up next.